GB Mornings. Well, look, I've already had my say on this today. This bloke, the United Nations climate chief, telling us the world will overheat if Australia doesn't increase its clean energy goals. It's absurd. As we know, we're already behind on the lofty targets that the ALP is pushing for when it comes to net zero, and it's at a cost to the average Australian. But no, according to the UN, if we, a nation of 27 million people, don't do more, then fruit will become a once-a-year treat. He's got to be joking. And this bloke from the UN, I mean, he's meeting with the Climate Change and Energy Minister, Chris Bowen, today. You can just imagine how that's going to go. It won't be good news for the Australian people, that's for sure. The whole thing ties back into the net zero issue, which is currently creating a political problem for the coalition and was only exacerbated by the motion put by One Nation leader Pauline Hanson yesterday afternoon. Ms Hanson introduced this urgency motion to net zero, calling on the goal to be scrapped. Now, the motion failed, which doesn't come as a surprise, and was backed by just 4 One Nation senators. United Australia Party Senator Ralph Babbitt and Coalition Senators Matt Canavan and Alex Antic. Moderate Liberals Jane Hume and Andrew McLaughlin voted against the motion. The remainder of the Liberal Party senators abstained from the vote, something that has seen Ms Hanson label them as gutless. I thought we'd catch up with Pauline Hanson, the leader of One Nation. She's on the line with us now. Senator, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you.
Can I start by applauding you for speaking some sense when it comes to net zero, because Australia is barely a blip on the radar when it comes to global emissions, yet, Pauline, it seems we're carrying on as if we're Captain Planet and we're somehow going to save the world on this.
I know, and this is where people have eaten the Kool-Aid and believing this, and they're brainwashing the kids in the educational system. As we had that young senator stand up yesterday, 21 years of age, and said we've been on a farm. Well, I'm telling you, a farm can't run without petroleum products and run the diesel in the tractors and all the rest of it. So they've been brainwashed. The whole fact is, I want people to understand. Someone did a post on my page and said, oh, well, we could drink out of the rivers 200 years ago. That's pollution. That's different to CO2. CO2 is 0.04% of the gases that we need to grow crops. It is important. Only humans put out, under the computer modelling, 3% of those gases. 97% is from nature itself, something we can never change. How much they tax you, how much extra you want to pay in electricity bills, I'm telling you, it cannot be changed. The whole thing is a scam. It's about controlling the people, movement of people. And this is where the stupid part, I don't know if you know this, in Ireland, they culled 160,000 head of cattle to comply with their carbon emissions. How ridiculous is that to get rid of food? Here we are destroying the farming sector. They're the next ones to go with carbon emissions of about 14% they're responsible for. We put out 1% of the 100% global emissions. You've got China, India and the USA who are responsible for 50%. China is actually not tied up into net zero to 2060, India 2070, and the USA are not complying at all, not a signatory to it. So we are the bloody fools here that are heading down this path, and people don't understand what the argument is about or the debate. But you're paying the high electricity costs, you'll have blackouts, you're seeing small businesses go under, industry and manufacturing leaving, the pharma sector is destroyed. For what?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Just breaking in, Pauline, we're receiving reports that there's an active shooter situation in New York. I'm actually looking at some vision coming through from Sky News right now. So more on that. We are chasing some more details. I've just seen some vision of people walking out of buildings, holding their hands up in the air. So reports an active shooter in New York. Just returning to net zero with you, Pauline. Yeah. I mean, we need more and more of our politicians to call out the scaremongering, which brings me to the story on the front page of The Australian, the UN's climate chief declaring Australia will let the world overheat and fruit will become a once-a-year treat if Labor doesn't lift its clean energy ambitions. I mean, talk about doomsday predictions and what, from the United Nations?
That's always happened. I read a book by Ian Plimer. He put out one, the Green Planet or something like that. Anyway, what he said in there, and he's got a list of all these different ones over the centuries that have said the Earth's coming to an end. It never has. Okay, so people, it's not coming to an end with this climate change and net zero, and we have to look at our cost of living, standard of living that's happening at the moment. People now are struggling to put food on the table. Electricity bills have increased by 300%, or around about $1,000 to $1,200 a year. The Labor Party said they would save you $275 a year by 2025. It's not going to happen. You're going to get another 9 or 11% increase in your electricity bills, and will continue to go up. They're forcing these companies that they have to sell so much of the renewables. Renewables are not reliable. That's why now they're keeping the coal power fire stations open to produce the dispatchable power that we need, because the renewables are not delivering to us. In Victoria alone, they're going to put 7% of land is going to be under wind turbines and under solar panels. How ridiculous is this? They've cut out, gas. They knew they can't. Now they've changed their opinion. And here we are, one of the biggest gas nations in the world, and we're going to start importing gas into our nation because we're not producing enough for our own use.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, Mark.
The other thing, Senator, you just mentioned coal, right? What about this story today? I mean, Chris Bowen and the climate change activists won't like this. Revelation today that black coal has staged a comeback to rival renewables as the cheapest form of electricity, yet Labor, don't mention coal.
Well, it is. And that's because they know, now they admit they can't go without coal. They were going to close down Loy Yang by 2028. Now they realise that they've got to keep it open to 2030. The problem is that a lot of these companies or coal-fired power stations haven't put the money into the maintenance because they've been told by the government they have to close down. And now they're told, everything is in such a mess because the maintenance wasn't kept up with it. So it's been an absolute scam. The transmission lines that's going through it, that's going to cost another $20 billion. Even your wind turbines, they're now an extra $1,000 cost. These wind turbines, let me tell people, a wind turbine takes 260 tonnes of coal and 800 tonnes of concrete to put in the ground to hold them up. They cannot get rid of them other than burying them in the ground. The environmental damage that they are doing to us in the, all for net zero. For what? People think about this. I'm going to keep pushing this right from the very beginning. I have opposed this because I spoke to scientists, geologists, people. Common sense tells you this has been an absolute scam brought in by Agenda 21, by Maurice Strong in 2021, where now they want to control the food that you eat. And I warn you, the future. Under this climate change, you will be actually taxed on where you move, how far you go, the car that you drive. This is all coming in. This is leading up to it. So if you want to keep heading down the path, be prepared for the future. You'll be controlled. You're going to be a pleb. It's going to be what you are, what you have in society, whether you can pay the taxes so that you can travel overseas on the aeroplanes. If not, you're going to be doing what you're told.
It's the reason why, Senator, that I keep saying that Susan Lee can't afford to wait any longer. She needs to make her position clear. And I think that's why we're seeing more and more voters lean towards One Nation, because you've made it abundantly clear where you are on net zero. All the while, you put forward that urgency motion yesterday afternoon, and we've got Liberal senators who abstained from the vote.
Mark, I'm the only one pushing for accountability. All right, she's been in this game longer than what I have. I've been back in here since 2016. She's been in here a lot longer. We've known this for the last 15 years since Julia Gillard wanted to bring in the carbon tax on emissions. And the whole fact is, if she doesn't know where the hell the people are and what's happening in small businesses, the cost of living, everything, then get the hell out of being leader of the opposition, because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You haven't been listening to people. And that's why I get so frustrated about it, that I see that businesses going on. 30,000 small businesses have gone under this guise of climate change. We see the farming sector being destroyed. We won't get them back. That expertise is going to be gone. Industries and manufacturing closing down because they can't afford the electricity costs. They won't come back here. So that's the stupid part about it. We're destroying our economy, standard of living and way of life for what? I don't believe she's up to it. And I'll tell you now, I predict she will be gone before the next election. She will not be the opposition leader.
All right. Well, Pauline, keep fighting the good fight, because given the response I'm getting from at the moment off the back of what you're saying, there's a lot of people saying, go Pauline. Senator, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Mark. Bye.
That's Senator Pauline Hanson from One Nation on net zero. I was only saying to someone the other day that I've never seen this country in a more precarious position, because the path we're treading on energy, national security,